गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी गोना हैव a roundup, and it's I won't say it's a special broadcast, but this is going to be a regular feature every Sunday hereafter. So what I'm going to do every Sunday is it'll be open house first, and second, I'll cover a bunch of you know uh, global affairs, and I'll highlight the important parts of everything. But before that, the past 3 days in Lebanon have been actually explosive, right? And there've been a lot of action out there. So, in fact, from a visual or optic point of view, I found this little clip which explained a lot. So, well, here we go. And this is what I'm going to first show you, and then we'll start the whole story. Well, this clip was quite. Oh, it's gone back again.
يا محمد
يا صحراء
يا زهراء
Well, this is the kind of aerial bombardment which Nasrallah had to suffer, and he went in that, and it was pretty strong, right? But that's not the whole story today. We'll go over the sequence of events which have happened in Iran, between Iran, Israel, and you know Hezbollah, and then we understand where the whole thing is going. Oh, many people think these are a disjointed set of events. I don't think so. I think Israel went into the clear plan, and that's what I'm going to put across to you. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Now, in this war, the whole thing started on 8th September. It's not as if it started today. It started on 8th September when uh, Israel carried out a proper raid into Syria at a place called Masayef, and it attacked the missile facility. Now, let me go to the next one. Yeah. So, this is the place where Masayef was. It had the name of Syrian Scientific Studies and Research Center. This was on the border between Lebanon and Syria, north of, you know, well north of Lebanon, and away from Israel. So, what Israel did was very clear. They first carried out an airstrike on that facility, knocked off all the guards, and then they actually pushed in two companies by insertion, air insertion, and took out the complete facility. And this I got to know from Washington Post. Now, what is important is that this facility, I'll go back to the map once again, have a look. This facility was something which is fairly in depth, and from where Iran could give all the know-how, everything, and a factory was on, so their missile production and everything was there. It was not it was some kind of a research center. Um, so come staging post, come depot, whatever it is, that got knocked off, and that was where um, uh, Hezbollah was getting its feed from. So that they knocked off. When was this? When did this happen? it happened on 8th September. Okay, so one has to understand that, see that. Then 1 week later, once that was successful, okay, so they 17th September they carried out pager attacks. 18th September they took out walkie-talkie attacks. By the time they finished this walkie-talkie attacks and pager attacks, the Hezbollah command and control structure was broken. The communications were broken, and Hezbollah was in trouble. Everyone knew that. They were not prepared to even talk to each other. Okay. Immediately after that, 2 days later, the aerial strikes start. Heavy bombardment. Okay. And on 23rd September, when they did this aerial bombardment, it was pretty severe. It is, let me look at this. Look at this graphic. All of a sudden, they started knocking off people left, right, and center, and carried out surgical strikes. And you see the casualties, which is on the right. Before that, the number of casualties where it was, and on that particular day, on 23rd September, when they started this aerial bombing, over 500 people, 536 people got knocked off. But we all know that the Hezbollah had kept these missiles wherever they had to keep rockets and all that, and they had a lot of them, nearly 150,000. And these are kind of strikes which were carried out pretty stiff, and the result so far has been the complete command structure of Hezbollah has been wiped out. That's what at least the Israelis are claiming. I have no reason not to believe. I think that's been acknowledged even by Hezbollah people. Okay, after the thing, and elimination of the leadership, they threatened a ground attack. Okay, they threatened a ground attack, but they have not gone in. So far, they have not gone in. I don't know whether they'll go in also. Right. And then 28th September, that was yesterday, early morning, they eliminated Hassan Nasrallah. As of now, the strikes continue. Hezbollah was supposed to be a very strong, potent force, or rather ally of or militia, which couldn't be broken so easily. But the thing between Hezbollah and Hamas in Gaza had all those extensive underground works and all that. Hezbollah didn't have. And these people, Israelis, for the past 1 year, they've been tracking Hezbollah. They knew exactly what was of Hezbollah. The mapping of Hezbollah, int mapping was fantastic. Within Israel, there was a dichotomy whether to go towards Hamas and Hezbollah together, finish off Hamas and then go to Hezbollah, or vice versa. In fact, there was an opinion within Israel that first let's sort out Hezbollah and then we'll handle Hamas. But anyway, things have happened the way they have. And with this, now you look at what's happened in the Middle East. The Hamas is virtually broken, right? Hania gone. Any day they'll knock off that Yahya Sinwar also. And things are in a bad shape for Hamas. And they're not letting go there also. They've still got deployment there. They're still carrying out strikes. Israel is now got after Hezbollah. I'm sure they'll break Hezbollah. Hezbollah, which is supposed to be the strongest of the militia, is on the verge of breakdown because I don't think they have leadership left. They don't have communication left, and a lot of their stuff is broken. Their arsenal has been degraded. Plus, the fact that where they could, the research center at Masayaf, that's been finished off. Now, in this whole story, Saudis and UAE have kept quiet. US is supporting Israel, there's no doubt about it, because it's serving US interests. Iran has not spoken. Iran, except for some anodyne statement, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. But they did that last time also when Ismail Haniyeh was knocked off. So let's get to that first. Okay. So this is the thing. Yeah, I showed you. This also I've shown you. These are the photographs, some photographs uh, extensive damage. Uh, this is a smart ploy which Benjamin Netanyahu did. He went to the UN, spoke with these two photographs. He's shown the left one, the curse. The curse are all black: Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Hamas, and Houthis. If you see on the bottom, Houthis are also there in the Arabian Peninsula. I'll show you this a little closer. Right? Houthis, they're all the curse. The blessing here, they've shown Egypt, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, of course, UAE, and India. This is a blessing as per him. So, what's he done in this whole story? He's actually literally split the Muslim world. So, a whole lot of them are going to support him. A very, smart politico-military move, right? And as a result of which, there's no support now for Hezbollah and company, nor for Iran. In any case, there's no love lost between Hezbollah and Saudi Arabia and Iran. And there are a lot of people who felt that Iran was becoming too strong. So that Chinese brokered deal, that's also broken. We'll get to that. Okay. See, what's the thing about Iran? Let's analyze Iran. Iran was, all the while I've been telling you, it's been a power which was fighting out of the shadows. Now, Iran was not itself getting involved. Oh, Iran put Hamas forward, Hezbollah forward, Houthis forward, and the Iraq-based militias forward. Equipped them, gave them money, whatever. It did. But it didn't get involved. The way it was fighting, it was very strong. It had tremendous power projection till the time it fought from the shadows, Iran. Okay. But today, as of now, it stands weakened and isolated. China can't help it beyond a point, nor can Russia help it. On the other hand, Iran has to continue supplying those drones to Russia to get money and oil to China, to keep their economy going. Both can be turned off any day now. Okay, so Iran will, duck. Remember, they've just lost their prime minister, Raisi, 3 months back. They had to rig an election and get a new chap in. And Iran itself has had a lot of protests. If you remember last year, Masa Amini, who was jailed and she died in custody. So a lot of people, Iran is not a homogenized society or a very strong internally on one page kind of a society. It's not. There are a lot of divisions within Iran. It's a fractured society, and this mulladam is happy. They're allowing their story. But how long will that go? We don't know. But anyway, we have to remember that Israel has got its tentacles fully in Iran. In the past 2, 3 years, 4 years, there have been 4 incidents of, assassinations. The first was with Soleimani, right, who the Americans took out outside Baghdad airport. Then Fakirzadeh, who was a nuclear scientist, who was absolutely taken out within Iran by the Israelis, and then Ismail Haniyeh. So there's no one safe within Iran who can't be touched. And then Iran has been carrying out real surgical strikes. In fact, if you remember 2 months back, when Iran put those 300, 400 drones across to hit Israel, everyone said, oh, quantity has quality and all that. What did Israel do at that time? They just carried out a surgical strike next to Iran's nuclear facility and sent a message. You do anything, I will sort out your nuclear facility. So that's also at risk. Then people will say, can Iran go nuclear? How far? If Iran tries anything nuclear, it's going to get a hammer. And the problem with Iran, I mean, so as far as the, these militias were acting, right, and its proxies were acting far away, Iran had taken the battle to the opposition. But now the battle is on its own shores. Now it has to enter the fray. Will it enter the fray? If it enters the fray, it runs the risk of being beaten. Because, remember, USA is there in full force. So there are a lot of issues there. So, and at this point of time, Iran does not have the resources to hit back. They might do something, but it doesn't have the resources to hit back. Why? It doesn't have an air force. 1,000 kilometers plus of terrain between Iran and Israel. It doesn't have an air force. It doesn't have ground troops. The ground troops were the proxies who've been broken. So actually today, Israel has come out stronger and secure. Oh, there'll be some rocket attacks, all that. But and now they will carry out raids, come strikes, come this thing, and I'm now confident that they'll decimate Hezbollah. Now, what is the future of Hezbollah? Now, I'm switching. As far as Hezbollah is concerned, they'll be degraded. They don't have leadership. At the end of the day, Hezbollah, you must remember, was fighting to rule Lebanon. It was a state within a state. That status is gone. People in Lebanon will not support it. Hezbollah had strength only in South Lebanon, not in the north. I mean, Lebanon politics are different. I'm not going to get involved with it. So, Hezbollah itself is weaker. Hamas is weak, definitely after 1 year of getting hammered, and this will both continue. Iran doesn't know what to do. Whose turn next? Houthis. Now, Houthis are a danger. Okay, now we'll see how it unfolds. Will all this lead to peace? No, it will not. Because if you have to go to peace, you have to get back to the Oslo Accords, which no one bothers about. Then there's West Bank also, which is a problem. So this is the situation as of today. Let's see where it goes. If you ask me, look, what's going to happen? Hezbollah will be in the back foot. You'll find Israel coming up. What can happen, and which one hears of, is the revival of the imch. People are now, suddenly it started, the past 1 week, people have now started talking of imch. What is imch? India Middle East Economic Corridor, or India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. I did a program on that some time back. I'll repeat it next time. I mean, down the line, if it takes shape, I'll repeat it. What are the prospects of that going through? Today it's better. After all, it has to go to Israel. Will Israel get recognized? It might not get recognized, but it will go through. Now, in this whole story, where does China stand? Where does USSR stand? Or rather, Russia stand? Nowhere. And in fact, the Saudis will not let go. They will, they will say, okay, the deal is on, all that, but they'll get after Iran. For Saudis and UAE, this is a golden opportunity to sideline Iran. Again, the Middle East politics, power politics of the Sunni versus Shia will come in. What's the role of Turkey in all this? He's kept on one side. So things have changed in the past 1 week. Will it change further? Definitely. It's happening at fast pace. So we'll see how it goes after a week, 10 days, and where it goes. And then we'll see what's going to emerge. Because today it's action time. That's about all. Okay. Now, let me talk of UN reforms. Why I'm talking of UN reforms? The United Nations General Assembly went, Future of the World Conference, Modi ji went there, External Affairs Minister went and spoke. If you go to the web, his entire speech is there. I'll talk about what he spoke also. But let's talk of UN reforms. There's now a strong feeling that India should be part of the Security Council as a permanent member. France has spoken, Germany has spoken, Portugal has spoken, of all people, and so many more. They said we want India on the table. So let me go over this. I made some points so that you get a idea. You see, what's come out is, I mean, let me give you a picture of the whole story. Now, UN has become whether ineffective, whether it's in South China Sea or in Sudan or Ukraine or Gaza. UN has become quite ineffective. That's the first part. Why do you need reforms? Second, all the great powers, United States, Russia, China, they're all scuttling every action to peace because in everything they have their interest, right? So with the current setup, there's no way you can move forward to get global peace. Now, action to rein in Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been impossible. United States has shielded Israel from international pressure. All this we know, but I'm reiterating. Now, the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, they've been ineffective. No one follows their rulings. In fact, the International Court of Justice, they at Hague, gave the tribunal gave the ruling for South China Sea. They told China, look, your claim of 9-line is not legal. No one's bothered about it. On the other hand, some of UN's main agencies have been involved in, found to be involved, in Hamas activities, smuggling and making money, right? And this has been proven in Gaza. Look, despite these, I mean, aside from these main wars, the complete coup belt of Africa, that is a Sahel belt, central, just around Sahara, the southern edge of Sahara, Sudan, Tunisia, all those. There's a lot of action going on there. A lot of people are getting killed. Actually, more people are getting killed there in internecine warfare or ethnic clashes or tribal clashes. Right? That also UN has not been able to stop. Okay. Then look at Myanmar. Myanmar also steadily, the whole story is going down, 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 down. Nothing has happened. Okay. In fact, it's very interesting what the Finnish president said. Let me enlarge it so you see. What the Finnish president said, Alexander Stubb, he called for an end to single veto powers where only one of the permanent members can block action. This is very interesting. Okay. If this comes through, if the veto goes away, then I mean, maybe the veto will be there in some other form. Maybe at least two people have to give veto, all that. And if the Security Council is enlarged, that's the watchword. Otherwise, nothing will go forward. I mean, reforms have to be holistic in all cases. Then we are looking at something happening. But will it happen? That's the question. In this, for the first time in all these years, I am hearing people talk of this very emphatically. Okay. Now, yeah, it's also failed to sort out the post-pandemic stress and debt which countries have gone into. Today, there's food insecurity all over the world. What has UN done? Zero. Okay. It has now, a lot of people are getting displaced, like I told you in Sahel or the African belt along the equator. Not equator, sir, the Tropic of Cancer. And very, very little has been done about that. Okay. Now, what does the UN chief, what did he say? That's again significant. It's interesting. He says the truth is that the Security Council has systematically failed in relation to the capacity to put an end to the most dramatic conflicts that we face today. That is Sudan, Gaza, Ukraine. And this is by Antonio Guterres. He's himself admitting that UN is a failure. And someone said, UN today is a system evolved by the grandfathers for grandchildren. right? In the last year, last century, at the Bretton Woods conference, peace came about, and then they established after the Second World War, they established UN. Those are my grandfathers who did it, and my grandchildren can't go by the same, structures. Need to change, and there's no meaningful or pathful way or meaningful or pathway for actual Security Council reform. It's not there. Now, Russia has thwarted all attempts to put nuclear disarmament back on the international agenda. Okay, it has got reasons to do so. Why? Because if they want Russia to come on to nuclear disarmament at the behest and at the to as per the whims and fancies of USA. Russia won't do that, nor will China do that because China is expanding its nuclear arsenal. So all these problems. Now the big talk is India, West Germany, Japan, Brazil. These are the candidates enhanced which have enhanced value for the Security Council. But China will do anything to block it. So let's see where these reforms go. There's also talk of getting a South African nation or two into this. That also there's a problem. Some people said it should be South Africa. Many people in the northern part of the African continent don't want, like Kenya and all, don't want South Africa. So there's a division there also. So UN reforms is an issue. Where we'll go, I don't know, but I don't think we'll go very far. If it happens, it's good. But in my own way, India needs to be there. I have no doubt about it. If not now, uh, maybe year two, three. It has an inevitability, and why it's an inevitability, we'll talk about it next week. Because you have to understand it in relation to uh, China, and of course, the next thing which I'm going to talk, I'll run over Brics. You'll understand from there also. So what's happened in Brics? Because the BRICS summit is going to come up, and BRICS is emerging as a alternate global order to the UN and Western-led global order, and China is pushing BRICS far ahead. And so let's understand BRICS and what are the issues in BRICS, because we need to understand that before we say, oh, BRICS is the alternate to UN and all. It will not be the alternate to UN, but China is attempting to do so. So let me go over that. Okay. And like I said, BRICS will shape the global order. Now, you remember 15 years back when there was a global financial crisis, the BRICS came into being. Like I said, it's an acronym all of us know for Brazil, Russia, India, and China. South Africa was added a little later. Now it has expanded. Today, BRICS is not only those original 5 founding members, but also Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and UAE together. In the last thing, Saudi were invited to join, but they yet to join. Not Venezuela, Argentina was also invited to join, but Argentina has declined. So you have a quorum of 9 plus 1. I'll say plus 1 is Saudis. Now the thing is, BRICS, with the expanded BRICS, it's 35% of global GDP in PPP terms. That's huge, right? It's more than what the G7 has, and it's 45% of the world population. So it's a powerful system as it is. Okay, all right. Whereas the G7 is just about 10% of the world's population. So population-wise, BRICS is more, uh, and PPP-wise, GDP is also quite a bit. There are 40 countries which are lined up and interested in joining BRICS. That includes Indonesia, because that will give them a leeway to get out, or rather hedge against the existing system. And in some cases, these 40 countries are being pushed by China, because many of these countries are indebted to China. So these countries will want to join the BRICS system because China is pushing them. And plus, they also feel that US and its allies, they've not been able to help these countries. And many of these countries are colonies. They don't like these old colonial powers, and they want to say they want to reshape the global order so that they get more autonomy. Okay, And if there's an alternative center of power, which BRICS is emerging as an alternate center of power, these countries will jump. Okay, they also can't join G7 and all that. They also can't they can't join US-led military blocs like NATO. They can't get into Quad, or they can't get into the alliance system in the Asia Pacific. So there's an issue. So many of these smaller countries sense that BRICS is the alternate to them. And with China, and to please China, because they are indebted to China, they can't they can't get out of the debt trap. So they'll say, okay, if China wants us to get in and vote for it, so we'll get some financial benefit out of it. But you have to understand, within BRICS also, almost there are two camps now. China and Russia, they want to make BRICS into anti-West system, but Brazil and India don't want to do that. They want BRICS for democratization and things like that, and expansion. And like India is more interested in the global south. Okay. And, for a long time, BRICS was quite useless. There was just a lot of talk and all that. In 2014, this new development bank was established. When it was established, till now, it has not done much, to be very honest. But now, China sees that New Development Bank can be an alternative to the IMF and World Bank. The Asian Development Bank and the New Development Bank put together could be the alternates to IMF and World Bank. Will that happen? We don't know. But the thought process is there. That's the important part which people have to understand. Okay. Then Russia finds BRICS very convenient because with the help of China and India, it has weathered sanctions. And like I told you yesterday, China is the real driving force. It will do all its best in BRICS to make BRICS the alternate to UN. Okay. About 80-90 countries over the next 10-15 years join. It's an alternate to the UN. Let's not have any doubt about it. And then they are pushing their agendas of global security initiative, global development initiative, civilizational initiative. And they tried in the last BRIC conference, which was held in India, that was held virtually. They tried to put the phraseology and verbiage of the global security initiative into the BRICS declaration, which India said no, thank you. So, like I said, China and Russia will be on one page, Brazil and India on one side. That's very clear. Okay. But we also need to understand that China has pressurized India and Brazil in 23 to expand BRICS. We also found it convenient to go ahead with that because all the countries which have joined BRICS, whether it's UAE, Saudi, and all these, they have a strong relationship with us. They are almost strategic partners or more, and they're going to be partners on IMEC. They're also playing double, right? So that IMEC has got its value. IMEC will slowly not be a trade grouping only; it will also be a geopolitical grouping as it is emerging. So you see this, tussle within the BRICS, and because of this tussle within the BRICS, BRICS will never be an alternate to the global order. Understand that? Okay. Like Egypt and Ethiopia, okay, they have who the new members. They are reluctant to let South Africa go as the member of the Security Council from representing Africa. So there are issues in this. So as we move along, when people say BRICS is going to be the alternate to UN and all that, it's not going to be so easy. And last week there was this foreign ministers meet in New York. That was last Thursday, not this Thursday, Thursday before that. For the first time, it ended without a joint statement. There was no joint statement of the foreign ministers. It shows that BRICS is not so strong as it was, which I've always been saying, that BRICS can't be strong. You can't have 4 countries and 4 continents and say we'll be strong. It's very difficult. And all 4 of them have different agendas. Okay, they have different values, so it's not so easy, right? An interesting thing which I learned recently is this. Uh, I believe that India and Brazil put this condition in front of China that if you want BRICS expansion, right, you have to uh, support the aspirations of the new members, that is India, Brazil, and South Africa, for permanent seats on the UN Security Council. So the issue is, will China agree to this and come forward and accept India, Brazil, and South Africa to be part of you know the Security Council is an issue. So now that's why I took up BRICS along with UN. So UN reform हो रहा है, यहाँ ये भी हो रहा है. So we'll have to see where this whole story goes. Okay, so this is the thing about BRICS. Now, the last thing I'll touch today is Ukraine. As far as Ukraine is concerned, generally it's in the same standstill mode. That small projection of Kurds into Russia holds. People say it got wiped out and all. It's not got wiped out. Some parts Russia has been able to take, but beyond that, Russia has also not got the thing to take it forward. Where is this war going? It's going nowhere at this point of time. Because everyone is busy with the other war, and they now, if you see this war and that war have developed linkages. The third war, which I'll discuss next week, is the South China Sea conflict. That's also developing linkages. That's actually quite interesting. What's happening there, and in that, India has stakes. Let's be very clear. Whatever happens in South China Sea, India has stakes. So I'll talk of that next week. Okay, but what's happening in the Ukraine war otherwise? You know, for the first time over the past 3 years, Ukraine has taken the battle into Russia. And for whatever it is, small, big, that's a different story. That it has got a foothold there, and that will come in use for any negotiation later on. Now, Putin has threatened use of nukes. Why he's threatened use of nukes? He says, look, if you give Ukraine weapons which can hit deep within Russia, I'll use nukes in Ukraine. So that nuclear saber rattling is going on. Okay. And of course, the nuclear weapons include strategic weapons, tactical, aviation, cruise missiles, all that Russia has got. So it's threatening. So let us see where it goes. But I don't think Putin will do that. Okay. And of course, Zelensky is going everywhere in his fatigues and telling everyone that, look, Russia is threatening us with nukes. And they're threatening to bomb the nuclear facilities with power facilities in like Zaporozhye in Ukraine. Okay. And there is also a report which has come out as far as the Ukraine war is concerned, that there's a Russian company which is collaborating with Chinese companies, and it has set up a factory for attack drones there. Okay, and those will be used by Russia. Right? If this is true, then Chinese complicity, direct complicity, will be established. Right. So then, where's the issue? They're a different thing. And now Russia is also developing its own drones which have long ranges. And yeah, like I said, drone cooperation is on. And Russia is improving its relationship with Iran, China, and North Korea. It's dependent completely a lot on North Korea for ammunition, dependent on drones from Iran, dependent on electronics from China. So the issue of CRICS, whichever you call it, CRICS, whatever you call it, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, as one entity, which was spoken of, say, about 3-4 months back. I spoke with General Raj Shukla also in one episode. It's there, but it's not coming up as an entity. The BRIC movement is on. Whether it'll go push India into UN, we don't know. The UN reforms are on the table. Whether it happens, we don't know. But my question is, even if you have, India gets into the Security Council, how effective is new UN? We don't know. So there's a lot of flux going on, and a lot of this flux will, my opinion, settle only when some of these wars, cool down, and certain amount of effort for peace is on. Today, no one is interested in peace. USA wants to continue fighting with Russia. Russia won't let go of Ukraine. Israel, Gaza, it's on. South China Sea, the conflict is expanding, and I'll have to do a full, uh, you know, session on what's happening in South China Sea. I did one about 6-7 months back, but I'll go over the whole thing all over again. Right? So I have generally finished with the geostrategic roundup as of today. I do hope you found it. It's a different format. I do hope all of you have found it okay, especially those officers who actually approached me and said, "Look, we're going to appear for staff college next year. We want to have something on current affairs." So it's useful for them, I hope. And you could put up your subjects. You could let me know the subjects, through WhatsApp and all that, and I'll cover those. But anyway, I'll keep covering. Um, a slow build-up is good, so we take situation updates and keep going. Like the last week, I did on India's, neighbors. Now today I'm talking of international global affairs. The next weekend, I'll talk of issues of national importance, which are important to us. We'll cover that also. And then after that, I'll talk of India, China, Pakistan, and things which are of security value for us. So this is what I had to say. Now I'll take on your questions. I'll be a little cool and I'll take most of your questions. Okay. Yeah. Searching for General Sagat Singh, you'll have to search. I really don't have a clear solution for that. What are the main lessons we learn from IDF during this war? The main lesson we must learn is intelligence, the value of intelligence. That's the first thing. The second thing which you need to learn is the uh, the political clarity as to what you want to do. You need to be very clear as to what you want to do. The third thing is, it doesn't matter how strong your opponent is and what the opponent can do or what he can't do is a later day story. Take the battle into the opposition. Put that fellow on the back foot. That's a very important thing. I'm talking of 3 or 4 major issues. Intelligence, we don't know what's happening in Tibet. And we have the best resources to know what's happening in Tibet. There's something wrong with this, isn't it? Why we don't have the political capability to do so? Our political chaps are very good, for getting votes, sab aa jate hain aapke paas. But beyond that, what do? Right? They don't have the thing. Now, you have to take the battle to the opposition. You have to have a strong army. And you have to have a very clear idea of what your alliance system is. Israel is very clear that they're going to go with USA. USA also very clear that they'll go with Israel. अभी तक तो हमने चाइना को नेम ही नहीं किया. So we have a lot of lessons. People will say, no, you can't compare India with Israel. They're apple and oranges. I don't think so. From every situation, there's something to learn. And we have a lot to learn. Did the reporting by particular journalists actually harm the Indian army during the Kargil war? No, it didn't happen. It happened in Mumbai. There it happened. It helped. It went against us. Is the current communist government in Sri Lanka likely to harm us, or have we managed well there, or are we expecting instability in Sri Lanka for the next 5 years? Look, Sri Lanka will not recover in the next 5 years. Let's be very clear. Its economy will not recover. It's a broken economy. Uh, uh, Whether current government, the communist government, whether they will be good to us, bad to us, will come to know. So far, he's made the right sounds. We have also made the right sounds. We prepared him everything. But how it will pan out, we'll see as we go by. I mean, it's too premature to say. But instability in Sri Lanka will continue for the next 5 years. Won't it hitchhike while ILPL in war? What is ILPL? With IL recumbency harboring safe in Enadine, and after all three incidents were like departure of Iran president. I have not got it. Your abbreviations is something I can't understand. So I have seen Russia using drones which are controlled by a fiber optic cable instead of radio signal. Does India have any equipment to strip these new types of? Look, it's not a big deal. You're going back to first generation ATGMs. In the first generation ATGMs, like go back in time, we had this. The ATGM used to go with a fiber optic cable behind it. So it's going back. That's nothing very new. Given the discontent and angst amongst the Iranian people, this geography would probably Christian dominated, though through conversion in the not too distant future. No, it will not happen. Let's not dream of that also. There's an old video of Biden saying America would invent an Israel if it had to protect its interests in Middle East. What exactly are these interests? How does Israel benefit US? Look, it controls complete Middle East. Middle East has got energy. Middle East has got money. And you control that, your trade routes are controlled. The Gulf route are controlled. Your Suez Canal is controlled. Red Sea is controlled. So a lot of things, and if you control that part of the world, you virtually control the whole world. Okay, so there's no question of letting that part of the world go. Why do you think USA has got a central command with the headquarters in that place? Qatar. A lot of value there. So I feel one thing is sure, Iran is a paper tiger, all bark, no bite. Khamenei himself has gone underground. These guys are typical jihadis when the time comes to fight. Look, don't look at it from that point of view. You see, that's a wrong analysis, Sam. The fact is, Iran was playing from the shadows. I said though, shadow power. And it had armed Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, and the Iraqi militia. And they were doing everything, and Iran's power projection was that way. Iran had to do that because it didn't have an air force. Okay. And Iran got this opportunity. Actually, if you go back, when Saddam Hussein was alive, Iran didn't have all these ideas. Saddam kept Iran in check. It's only when Saddam Hussein is taken out, in Iran, there's a Shia government in place that has been virtually subverted by Iran. So now you have this whole story. This is a large part of it is because of US foolishness. Okay, it's weekend. That's what I told you. So let us see where it goes. Are Hamas and Hezbollah attacking Israel because of IMEC? No, it's not because of IMEC. It is basically due to Iran. Is Himalayan Blunder a good book to read? Yes, it is. But you have to take it with, I wouldn't say pinch of salt. What he said is very right, Brigadier Dalvi. I've been to those places. What he's described is very good. But now when you read this book 40, 50 years later, you have to be a little careful on how you derive what you get out of this book. Okay, if you read this book at face value, it's not good. But if you look at this book from analytical point of view, a lot of things you can derive. But I think it's a good book. Why is IMEC needed if Suez Canal exists? Alternate route. As simple as that. Alternate route. That you see now, if the Red Sea is blocked, don't you need an alternate? If Houthis you cannot overpower and the Red Sea route gets blocked, you go alternate. What if tomorrow the Suez Canal gets actually blocked? If you remember, Last year there was a big cargo ship which got blocked the Suez Canal. What happens to then? What about energy? IMEC is just not about connectivity; it is also about energy. Energy going from Dubai and Saudi Arabia to Europe and to India. So there are a lot of things in IMEC. IMEC is a corridor. It's a economic corridor. Suez is only a canal. Remember that. How can Iran wipe this egg off its face? It cannot. It's got to be, yeah. All this is what the rest of the thing I will not talk. It cannot wipe this egg. It's going to be very difficult for Iran. Yeah, Russia kept talking about providing weapons in the Middle East to its allies, but it looks like Russia provided to its ally Israel to destroy. Look, it's not so. Russia is not giving anything to Israel. But the most important thing is Russia itself is stuck. It's not able to play any influential game in the Middle East. And mind you, Russia has got tremendous equities in Israel, Syria and in Libya, and also in Turkey and Iraq and Iran. And it's trying to get close to Pakistan. So it can play a game, but it's stuck. So that's one of the reasons why. I mean, look, everyone says USA is involved in so many fights and it's having a problem, but everywhere others are fighting. USA is just giving them, weapons. So it's and other things, right? So, but you look at it, whether you like it or not, Russia cannot get involved here. If Russia was involved here, this whole place would have been very complicated because Russia has deeper connections with the Middle East than China has. China is also sidelined because he's stuck with South China Sea. And of course, his internal problems to alag hai. That we'll speak on 2nd October with General Rajiv Narayanan. Manjunath. So, generally, now Indians, especially in Kashmir, are mourning the death of Nasrallah. Yeah, after elections in Kashmir, will this pose as a serious threat as Union Territory tag is being revoked? It's not being revoked. Statehood will take time. Don't be in a hurry. That's my guess. And Kashmiris, look, whatever happens in Kashmir, there will always be a set of people who will be radical. There will always be a set of people who will go with their religion. There will always be a set of people who will not accept what's happening. Look, again, Manjunath, so many people now say, what's happening in Bangladesh, Hindus, we should go, send the army, help them, all that. It's the same mirror of what you expect Kashmiris to do or not do. So don't be completely, blind to their issues. There are fools. Well, you have to live with them. You have lived with them for so long. You have reduced the number of fools out there. That's the good part. Okay. At this point, I'd like to say, Krishna Chaitanya has become a YouTube member. Thanks a lot. Welcome, Krishna. I hope you get value out of what you're doing. But thanks for joining. Yeah. What should India do if Bangladesh doesn't allow smooth celebrations of forthcoming Durga Puja? We'll discuss that. A lot of things we can do. Right? They are, but the issue is how well they allow, what freedom they'll allow. That's the point. Why is Europe against Russia? If they become friends, USA is not needed and whole area will prosper. Tarun, this is the argument which John Mearsheimer gives. He says, he tells that, USA has made a mistake. It should not have got involved with Russia. It should have focused on China and ensured that Russia and China don't get together and focus on China and finish it off. I agree with your thinking process on this. I think in my own way, USA could have, had a deal with Russia. Probably Trump would have done it, not Biden and the Democrats. So let's see where it goes. If United States is saving Israel, then why Moody's downgraded? Oh, that will happen at this point of time. because of the instability and all that, but that not more. So Ukraine is also a permanent member with veto power has failed dismally to protect itself. Ukraine is not a permanent member. It doesn't have a veto power. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so the conflagration is this geography amongst the various participants lacks strategic thought and the end game is not visible. Given the imminent decline of the global economy. Yeah, this will happen. People are going to be in problems, and that's our opportunity because your economy can't be stopped and you're not involved in any of these issues. So you will continue going ahead. And in fact, maybe one day when we talk of India's national this thing, I'll speak the centrality of India, the peace dividend which India is getting when others are in war, what opportunities we have, all that we'll talk someday. Yeah, it's interesting how Israel Hamas conflict started just after the announcement of IMEC at the G. Yeah, that's what we discussed. I agree with you completely, Krishna. Uh, how to catch your talk at clause and Chanakya defense dialogue? I'll see. I'll get it and uh, you know put it put whatever I'm going to talk there. I'll put it out. I've asked General Dushyant. He said he will give it. So we'll see where it goes. इंडिया इज नाउ exposed their supplies. यार ये तो पाकिस्तानी है बेवकूफ है. So the G20 under the guidance of tutelage of Bharat and other like-minded nations would probably have a better chance at becoming an no, G20 will never become an alternate. Let's not have any doubts about that. This might seem odd, but when everyone was studying Pakistan, you and General Rawat studied China, as you had the foresight to see he was a future enemy. Similarly, I believe this is about US. Am I right? Uh, yes and no. At some point of time, we're going to have problems with US. We need to have our powder dry and our thoughts clear, right? But we'll not have the problem we're having with China with US. The problem with US will be of a slightly different nature. Why is Iran turning against India recently? Iran's supreme leader made some fake comments on, yeah, you can't help this. At the end of the day, Iran is made that way. Okay, you have to deal with Iran. You have to deal with Iran because from on a long-term perspective, we have good equations with them. We have rough edges with them also. So that's about all. Unstable world prove us that in South Asia we must invest more on good education. That's the only way forward for the long-term peace. Regional peace is very important. I agree with you. Unfortunately, the way I look at it, we are going ahead in those lines. Our neighbors need to. That's why I keep saying we have to take our neighbors along. Uh, yeah, you're a good person. Thank you. I think Israel is cleaning up the hurdles for IMEC. I agree with you. It is also a challenge to BRI. Not fully, but if the first step has to be good. If that happens, things will go forward. That first step actually, unfortunately, was bad because once the IMEC was announced, everything immediately after that, this October, September was G20. October, this whole story started 1 year back, and it got derailed. Now it's coming back. So let's see. It will come up. What is happening in Manipur and Northeast? Nothing is happening except our government, the state government and the central government are messing it up. That's about all. What is your analysis about the pager issue killing Nasr? I guess said this. This whole story was about this, Shiv Shekhar. ये तो तुम्हारा कहानी वो है कि रामायण सुन लिया और फिर पूछ रहे हो सीता कहाँ है. ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है यार. Okay. Is it possible for India to eliminate Pak terror proxies? is the way Israel did with his Hezbollah. Why can't Raw infiltrate and compromise JEM the way Mossad? Well, Roshan, the situation is different. Pakistan is a different country. Please understand that. Okay, please understand. Pakistan is a different country completely. It's an anti-India country. Nothing unites Pakistan more than anti-India sentiment. So you can't do that. But having said that, we have done something. I'll not talk of it now, but we have. Why is China increasingly getting involved in Middle East? Oil, energy. That's the first thing. Markets, BRI. It's already invested in a lot of ports in the Middle East. The US surely don't like this. That's why US is doing what it has to do, right? And actually speaking, whatever is happening is, see, the IMEC is the whole story. Why it's good for India. IMEC has come in as a counter to China. Understand that. So that to give us, it's not an alternate to BRI, it's a counter to China. Let's be very clear. And ensure that China doesn't make inroads into Saudi Arabia and US, Dubai, and push it through Dubai, Oman, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Israel, because that line is very clear. Okay. And one end India and one end Europe, all fine. Okay. Shouldn't India opt out of BRICS? No, we should not opt out of BRICS. India has a great role in BRICS. India is the founding member, and that gives you strategic autonomy. Today, you don't like China. One way of managing China is through BRICS. One way of managing USA is through BRICS. One way of managing China is through Quad. One way of managing USA is through Quad. You have to engage multilateralism. Yeah, is IW? I won't know. I'll not get involved with that because I've never bothered about these small weapons. If Israel and Iran start a war, Ukraine or Israel and Iran, war तो हो रहा है और क्या चाहिए? Will China get into a conflict with Philippines on Taiwan? What should India do? As we'll talk of it. I told you next week we'll talk. Will India eventually take Russia and China side? No, it will not. It will not. Is the attack on Israel in the background for hammering IMEC by? No, it's not. Again, all this is far-fetched. Hamas and Israel have had a problem from the last century, 1947. So don't forget that. There is one more aspect to it. Middle Easterners, West Asians are looking towards Russians for a security pole. Fighting matters. Russia has shown its stance against it. I doubt. There was a time, there's no doubt about what you're saying to a large extent. Libya, Syria, Turkey, Iraq, they were all looking towards Russia. But today, that whole story is gone. So, what is your view? China losing a nuclear sub in the dock? It's not confirmed news. If it, there have been cases. This is the third or the fourth time we are hearing of a sub going down. So we'll have to see over a longer time and join the dots. Why was Iranian supreme leader making comments on Kashmir? That's his choice. Hai. Muslim hai, Shia hai. A lot of Shias in Kashmir. He will make that talk. I genuinely think Iran lost everything in West Asia. No, it's not that lost. Don't ever say a country has lost everything. Yeah, it is difficult to watch your asset being hunted down and you can't do anything. Iran will ultimately cut down. Today, Iran is on the back foot, but Iran, again, like India, is a civilizational state. Tomorrow, it can change. A lot of things can change. Don't worry. Okay, please tell us about the significance of NSG, Nuclear Supply Group. Just wait. I will do a episode on one of these weekend episodes on the nuclear issue. I'll talk of that then. We need a strong intelligence service. I agree with you. We don't need. There's no doubt about that. Why is China increasingly? I think we've spoken about this. How is how US is playing its card in India? Do they want regime change? Who's their face? What we can do to secure our future? 2014 USA wanted regime change but cannot do it. Look, that's your assumption. USA has tried all this nonsense for a long time. Ever since I've known, it has not succeeded. So they want to manage the situation. That's about all. In this game of chess, proxy is being used by West and anti-West alliance, each other to engage each other's bogies, namely, yeah, that's part of the game. Is this a game of chess? It is, no doubt. China wants Pakistan and Brics. Should India welcome it? No, not at all. Pakistan is far way away. Again, I'll speak of this in the forthcoming. I've already, in fact, I'm not getting the slotting because tomorrow I'm going to Delhi to be in the curtain raiser for the Chanakya dialogues, where I'm a panel member. So that tomorrow I can't broadcast. Day after also I can't broadcast. So then the next thing is on Thursday, where that will be interesting. We're going to discuss China. So when we discuss China, I'll probably get this point in. John, day after tomorrow, no, on Tuesday, 2nd October, come back and ask this question. Between me and Rajiv Narayanan, we'll answer you this. I don't understand why Hamas still holds the last few hours. That's the only leverage it's got. If it lets go of that, it's gone. Right? So that's how I think we finished all the questions. Thanks a lot. I hope I've been able to answer all your questions. Again, those of you who liked this video, please press the like button. And number two, subscribe to the channel. So I'm going to make this into a regular affair over the week. The weekend one, I'll have a roundup and then take all your questions so that we have a broader discussion. It helps people, especially those people who are appearing for entrance exams. I think this will be damn good. This is a request which came to me from some of our officers who are appearing. I said, okay, I'll take it on because anyway I had to cover something. So why not what is relevant? And we'll keep this going every Sunday, besides whatever we do otherwise. Right? Thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you. Till 2nd.